From forest to force, how hunting and survival skills sharpen law enforcement and detection. In the dynamic and often unpredictable world of law enforcement, officers are increasingly called upon to operate in environments that demand more than just traditional policing skills. Whether tracking fugitives through dense wilderness, conducting search and rescue operations in remote terrain, or navigating high-risk urban scenarios, the ability to adapt, observe, and endure is paramount. Interestingly, many of these competencies are deeply rooted in the disciplines of hunting and survival. These ancient skill sets, once considered the domain of outdoorsmen and military personnel, are now being recognized as powerful tools in modern law enforcement and detection. The art of tracking, from game trails to fugitive paths. Tracking is one of the most fundamental skills in both hunting and law enforcement. In hunting, tracking involves reading subtle signs in the environment, such as broken twigs, disturbed soil, or faint footprints, to locate and follow animals. This same ability is invaluable to law enforcement officers tasked with locating suspects or missing persons. The process, often referred to as sign cutting, requires acute attention to detail and a deep understanding of how humans interact with their surroundings. Law enforcement officers trained in tracking can identify patterns of movement, determine directionality, and even estimate the time elapsed since a person passed through an area. These skills are particularly useful in rural or wilderness settings, where suspects may attempt to evade capture by disappearing into the landscape. In such cases, technology like drones or GPS may be limited, and the human ability to interpret environmental clues becomes critical. Moreover, tracking is not limited to physical signs. Behavioral tracking, understanding the psychology and habits of individuals, can also aid in predicting where a suspect might go next. This fusion of environmental and psychological tracking mirrors the hunter's approach to anticipating animal behavior, making it a powerful tool in criminal investigations. Survival skills, operating in harsh and unpredictable conditions. Survival skills are essential for law enforcement officers who operate in remote or high-risk environments. These skills include the ability to build shelters, start fires, source clean water, forage for food, and navigate without the aid of modern technology. In wilderness search and rescue missions, natural disaster response, or extended stakeouts in rural areas, these abilities can mean the difference between life and death. For example, officers may be deployed to locate a missing hiker in a mountainous region. If weather conditions deteriorate or communication systems fail, survival training ensures that officers can continue their mission safely and effectively. The ability to remain operational in adverse conditions not only protects the officer, but also increases the likelihood of a successful rescue or apprehension. Basic medical knowledge is another critical component of survival training. Officers must be prepared to treat injuries sustained in the field, whether their own or those of civilians. This includes administering first aid, managing trauma, and stabilizing patients until professional medical help arrives. These competencies are often taught in survival courses and are increasingly integrated into law enforcement training programs. Situational awareness and mental fortitude. One of the most profound benefits of hunting and survival training is the development of situational awareness and mental resilience. Hunters and survivalists are trained to remain constantly aware of their surroundings, noticing subtle changes in the environment that may indicate danger or opportunity. This heightened awareness is directly applicable to law enforcement, where complacency can be fatal. Situational awareness involves scanning for potential threats, identifying exits and cover, and recognizing unusual behavior. It requires officers to remain alert even during routine tasks, avoiding tunnel vision and maintaining a combat mindset. This mindset is not about aggression, but about preparedness, being mentally ready to respond to any scenario. Mental fortitude is equally important. Survivalists learn to manage fear, fatigue, and uncertainty, often in isolation and under extreme stress. Law enforcement officers face similar psychological challenges, especially during high-stakes operations. The ability to remain calm, make rapid decisions, and adapt to changing circumstances is crucial. These traits are cultivated through experience, but can be accelerated through structured survival and hunting training. Environmental literacy and navigation. Understanding the natural environment is another crossover benefit of hunting and survival skills. Officers trained in these disciplines can read terrain, predict weather patterns, and navigate using maps and compasses. This knowledge is particularly useful in rural patrols, border enforcement, and disaster response scenarios. Land navigation skills enable officers to move efficiently through unfamiliar terrain, avoiding hazards and optimizing search patterns. In areas where GPS signals are unreliable or unavailable, traditional navigation methods become indispensable. Officers who can interpret topographic maps, use a compass, and estimate distances are better equipped to conduct thorough and effective searches. Environmental literacy also includes understanding local flora and fauna. This can prevent misidentification of animal tracks or sounds during investigations and reduce the risk of encounters with dangerous wildlife. In some cases, knowledge of animal behavior can aid in search efforts. For example, recognizing that scavengers may be drawn to a missing person's location. Application in K-9 units and wildlife enforcement. Officers with hunting backgrounds often excel in working with K-9 units. Their understanding of animal behavior, scent patterns, and tracking techniques enhances their ability to interpret K-9 cues and optimize search strategies. K-9 handlers must be attuned to their dog's body language and reactions, which often mirror the instincts of a hunter tracking prey. In wildlife enforcement, hunting skills are directly applicable. Officers tasked with monitoring poaching, illegal hunting, or wildlife trafficking must be able to track animals and humans alike. They may need to identify signs of illegal activity, such as bait stations, snares, or disturbed habitats. Their ability to move stealthily, observe without being seen, and interpret environmental clues is critical to successful enforcement. Real-world case studies and tactical integration. Numerous real-world examples illustrate the value of hunting and survival skills in law enforcement. In manhunts, officers have used tracking techniques to follow escapees through forests, deserts, and swamps. In one notable case, a fugitive evaded capture for weeks in a remote wilderness area. Officers trained in tracking were eventually able to locate and apprehend the individual by interpreting subtle environmental signs and predicting movement patterns. Search and rescue missions also benefit from survival training. Officers have successfully located lost hikers, stranded motorists, and disaster victims by applying navigation and survival skills. In these scenarios, the ability to endure harsh conditions and maintain operational effectiveness is essential. Border Patrol agents frequently rely on terrain navigation and tracking to monitor illegal crossings. In areas with rugged landscapes and limited infrastructure, traditional policing methods are insufficient. Agents must be able to read the land, follow tracks, and operate independently for extended periods. Tactical integration of these skills is becoming more common. Some law enforcement agencies now incorporate survival and tracking modules into their training programs. These courses often include reality-based scenarios, low-light operations, and medical simulations. Officers are encouraged to push traditional boundaries and develop a holistic approach to safety and detection. Training programs and institutional support. Organizations such as the Federal Law Enforcement Training Centers, FLEC, and private institutions like Storm Training and the National Rescue and Response Institute offer specialized courses in officer survival, situational awareness, and land navigation. These programs are designed to enhance the skills of law enforcement professionals and prepare them for the complexities of modern policing. For example, FLEC's Officer Safety and Survival Training Program focuses on environments where spontaneous attacks are likely, including vehicle interiors, building approaches, and low-light conditions. The program emphasizes tactical problem-solving and medical readiness. Storm Training offers courses in threat detection and situational awareness, helping officers identify criminal behaviors and narcotic trafficking through enhanced observation skills. The National Rescue and Response Institute provides survival and land navigation training tailored to law enforcement and rescue personnel, covering fire building, shelter construction, water sourcing, and food procurement institutorg. These programs not only teach practical skills, but also foster a mindset of preparedness and adaptability. Officers who complete such training are better equipped to handle the unpredictable nature of their work and contribute more effectively to their teams and communities. Bridging the gap between tradition and technology. While technology plays a significant role in modern law enforcement, through tools like drones, thermal imaging, and GPS, there are limitations. Devices can fail, signals can be lost, and data can be misinterpreted. Hunting and survival skills provide a reliable foundation that complements technological tools rather than replacing them. For instance, an officer using a drone to search for a suspect may still need to interpret environmental signs on the ground. A GPS device may indicate a location, but understanding how terrain affects movement can refine the search. In this way, traditional skills enhance the effectiveness of modern tools. Moreover, reliance on technology can sometimes lead to complacency. Officers who are trained to operate without digital aids are more resilient and capable in diverse scenarios. They can adapt when systems fail and continue their mission with confidence and competence. Conclusion: a holistic approach to law enforcement. The integration of hunting and survival skills into law enforcement represents a shift toward a more holistic and adaptive approach to policing. These skills, rooted in observation, endurance, and environmental literacy, equip officers to navigate complex and unpredictable situations with greater effectiveness. As law enforcement agencies face new challenges, from climate-related disasters to increasingly mobile criminal networks, the value of these ancient disciplines becomes clear. Officers who can track, survive, and remain mentally resilient are not only safer, but also more capable of protecting and serving their communities. By embracing the lessons of the wild, law enforcement professionals can enhance their operational readiness and bring a deeper level of insight and skill to their work. In doing so, they honor the tradition of the hunter and the survivalist, while forging a new path in the pursuit of justice.